In this video, I'm going to break down all of the different types of free things I am seeking out through the USDA right now as a first-generation farmer, as someone who has never gardened a day in my life, as someone who just had this Amish barn behind me built. I really don't know what I'm doing, but because I used to work for the state of New York 12 years ago now, I do know that there is money allocated to these programs and they have to give out that money. There's a bunch of different things I am working with the USDA on right now as we speak, and I'm going to share them with you guys just to enlighten you on what might be available to you that you had no idea existed. I didn't know most of this existed only 6 months ago. I actually only found out about it through my lender, where my land loan is. You guys know it is with Farm Credit East. They send a roundup of all of these different types of programs and projects available, especially to beginner farmers. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to share with you guys, they are targeting beginner farmers. They know we have a situation in our country right now. They know all of these farmers are about to retire. $24 trillion worth of farmland is going to be for sale. They know there are not enough replacement farmers coming in. There are not enough people in their 40s, 30s, and 20s that are interested in doing this. I would say there are a lot of people our age who are interested in doing this, but nobody has any freaking idea how to make it happen or how to fund it. So I feel very passionately about sharing things that are free with you guys, and everything I'm about to share with you right now has been free so far. Disclaimer, I have still not signed a binding contract with the USDA. So before someone needs to snarkily write down below, there's no such thing as free help from the USDA, you are incorrect, and I would challenge you to make your own video explaining what you mean here on YouTube. I am sharing my personal experience, so everything I'm going to tell you guys right now is what I have found to be true myself. First thing I'm going to talk about is the EQIP program. That is the program I am currently in that allocates free grant money to people doing conservation-y types of things at their property. I have learned from them, you do not need zoned agricultural land for this. They are allocating EQIP funds to people in cities. Actually, urban farming, urban gardening, farming in cities is one of their main focuses for where they want to send the EQIP money. So if you're watching this and you're in an apartment and you go, oh, there goes my chances, not true. And they are allocating funds to people who are gardening on roofs and balconies and different types of, solar punk, inner city types of gardening arrangements. They are still interested in that. So the EQIP program has been funded with nearly $3 billion for 2025. This happened a few years ago. So again, before someone says, well, with the incoming administration, say goodbye to that, it's already been funded by Congress. It was funded in 2023 through 2027. This has nothing to do with the current state of politics in the country. So throw that out of your head too. They have $3 billion that they need to allocate to people like me, possibly like you, that want to do things on their new land, on their raw land. They want to do stuff because they've never farmed before. A beginner farmer, someone who has never farmed before, is considered a minority group by the USDA. If you are a beginner farmer, they're not going to go, forget you. They're going to go, hey, you're actually our target group. And I know this because they told me this. So with the EQIP program, some members of the USDA came to my property in November. They sat at the table behind me, right there with me. They brought a whole slew of such interesting documents and information about my land I could have never found. They found aerial photos of my land over the last 100 years, so that way I could know exactly what's been done here. I could never have found that anywhere else. They brought soil analysis. They even showed me what type of soil is in what parts of my property. Again, how would I have ever known that? They shared so many things with me, including the Cornell Small Farms course program. I went on to already take a course with Cornell, thanks to what they showed me. If you guys want me to explain that further, I'm happy to. I'm going to take a second course with Cornell starting next month. You guys all know Cornell is kind of like a shining standard college in the world for agriculture. I'm not a huge fan of higher education, but I do find these programs to be kind of helpful. They're about 8 weeks long and they only cost $250. So you're not going to catch me spending thousands of dollars on higher education when YouTube exists, but I have found those courses to be helpful. When they came to my property, they brought a soil scientist, a pollinator specialist, people in their office, and a PR person, because I did tell them I shout about this stuff online. They sat at that table with me for hours and answered everything I wanted to know. They went over my land with me. They cared so deeply about my goals and initiatives and hopes and dreams with this property. They told me what's realistic. They told me what wasn't realistic. We went outside. We walked around. They pointed out invasive species, different elements of my land I should be aware of when planting this for that, what I would need to attract rare butterflies possibly in the area. If I could attract rare butterflies, I could probably offer tours or lessons or all sorts of stuff. They told me all of this for free. Nothing was signed. I didn't give them my tax return. Spoiler alert, the government has your tax return. So when people get so paranoid about that, the government already knows everything about you. Is that okay? No, but they already do. So I don't care if the USDA comes to my property and walks around and tells me where my good soil is. I'm perfectly okay with that. After they came to my property, we had a Zoom call. They brought another pollinator specialist on. This woman drafted guides for me, for my land, with specifically picked out shrubs, flowers, trees for my property to help me achieve my objectives. I could have never found such personalized information. In fact, I would have had to pay a pollinator specialist or a forester or professionals. I would have had to pay them thousands of dollars to get what I got from these people for free. Again, no contract signed. So we had another call for hours. They sat there and listened to my objectives, went over what is realistic, what isn't realistic, timelines, expectations with me. Perfectly, amazingly polite, nice, helpful people. Never was it a big brother watching moment where it's ominous. These are just all people that care about the environment. That's it. That's all. That's their job. They care about the environment. There's no crime there, in my opinion. After our most recent call, they sent me another guide. Then they basically broke down finally in an email to me this month what each thing I want to do would cost. Somebody went through and compiled the exact cost, everything would cost, and also where I could find all of these plants that I want to find. They put together a list of nurseries. Once we had the cost, they said to me, okay, we have identified you want to do 3 different things here we'll start off with. You're welcome to do more in the next year and the year after that. You're never done with EQIP. You can keep getting funds from this program for years. We broke it down into 3 things. I agreed to 2 of them because I think the third one might be a little over my head for, again, my first year doing all of this. So I agreed to 2 things. If you guys are curious, the first one is a row of trees at the front of my property. I can show you. Across the way here, it's all hay fields, like all in every direction. And the wind gets really, really bad in the winter and slams into my barn. And the wind gets kind of bad in the summer too. So there's no trees breaking anything up because it's just hundreds of acres of hay. I understand horses and animals need to eat. I have no hate against hay. I would like a windbreak at the property. I also want to have some more native trees put at the property. So they said to me, we will fund, if you're accepted for the grant money, a row of native trees at the front of your property. So that's the first one. The second one is funding brush hogging and mowing the wild part of my property 1/3 a year for the next 3 years to take care of the invasive species without taking it all out at once, because I still want to support all of the critters that are sleeping in the flowers and all that. Mowing 1/3 of it a year so that I then can get in there and start putting in my own native plant plugs. Those 2 things have been officially submitted in the EQIP program, and I will know on March 14th if I receive funding for either or both of those things or neither, and I will let you guys know. I am not trying to push an agenda. If I don't get funded, I'm not going to hide that. I will obviously share that with you guys, and I will know that on March 14th. Second thing I started inquiring about is their free high tunnel initiative. A lot of you have probably heard of that. Some people, depending on what region of the country or world you're in, a high tunnel can also be a greenhouse or a hoop house. It's a plastic wrapped metal framed structure that goes outside and is designed to extend the growing season of the plants inside of it. You can do all sorts of things in high tunnels. I spoke to them about that this week. They told me to get a free high tunnel from them, you can only grow. You cannot host events inside of it. You can't store your lawnmower in there. You have to actually grow stuff. What should you be growing in it? They told me fruits, veggies, and flowers that are designed to be sold for a profit. So you can't use it to grow rare native flowers that are part of some type of exclusive whatever. It has to be for fruits, veggies, and flowers in the area that is designed to be sold at your farm stand or at a farmer's market. It's designed to make you more money as a farmer. Since I am in zone 5B, I'm up north. Our growing season is only May through October. It's not that long. A high tunnel would allow me to extend that growing to March through November, which is a game changer, especially if you're in an area like this. It raises the temperature, usually I think by 20 to 30 degrees inside it. Can just be a cool thing to have added to a farm. They're pretty common in this area. They do usually cost anywhere depending, there's all different sizes, you know, from 5K to 15K. But the USDA will cover 100% of the cost of this if they deem you to be eligible and deserving of the high tunnel. So she said to me, first thing, if you guys are curious, first thing I would need to do this year is select the site where it would go. It can't be on a slope. They'll come out in March and approve of different sites at my property that meet their qualifications before I waste my time. They'll tell me. I have to crop it. There already needs to be veggies, fruits, or flowers growing where the high tunnel is gonna go. This probably proves to them you're not full of crap and that you're actually gonna do what you say you're gonna do. So you need to crop it. And then in the fall, they'll come back out and determine if, you know, everything's going according to plan. They'll submit you for consideration. This is still through the NRCS, so it's the exact same wing. I'm already in for the grant money. I don't have to fill out new paperwork. I don't have to make a new profile. I don't have to email a new person. It's the same people that are doing the grant money would also be doing this high tunnel with me. So it's literally killing two birds with one stone. The window for last year, you know, passed. So the window for this year is October to December, when you would need to get that in by to be considered. And then they would look into funding the high tunnel for you probably early 2026. She said, you know, February, March. She said in many cases, they are willing to pay 50% upfront. You cover the cost, and then they reimburse you the 50% on the other side. She even told me the average they are willing to pay is $7 per square foot of the high tunnel that is installed. It is on you to find the installation company to do that for you. So you would be looking for one that would match up with that $7 per square feet. The company said to you, oh, we're $12 per square feet. You want to find a new one, because then the USDA's funds wouldn't cover 100% of the costs. That was a lot of information. You're not gonna find this anywhere else, you guys. I don't find anyone ever discussing stuff like this. People are so funny with money and details related to grants and getting things for free in the government. Everyone gets so scared when you bring up the government. I understand the government blows. Nobody needs to convince me of that. I mean, I'm an Aquarius, okay? That should tell you everything you need to know. I'm a strange person who's an Aquarius. I'm also Christian. I'm also a lot of things, and I don't ever think a centralization of power is a good thing, but I'm also pragmatic. I'm a very pragmatic person. I used to see it when I worked for the government many moons ago before I started working for myself. You guys always say, how did you afford this barn? You know, what the heck? I ran a freelance writing business for 10 years. Google me. A lot of different things are going to come up, including some not nice Reddit threads that are not true. There's haters at large everywhere I go. It's just a part of my story, and I've learned to accept them. I'm sure some of you are watching this video. Hello. The government has money it has to give away. It wants to give it away to people who are doing things that makes it look good. So that's how that works, okay? Yes, that's what they're gaining out of this. They are able to then tell the people, the powers that be, that they help some beginner farmer, some person who doesn't know what the heck they're doing in the country, plant a few trees. And then they satisfy all the things they're required to do. They go on with their life, you go on with yours. That's it. That's the exchange. Remember, you already pay taxes to the federal government to provide you with these services. I look at it as you are cashing in on things you have already paid into. That's why, no, okay, this isn't free. That's the exchange that's going on here, though. It's cold, simple, that is the exchange. Basically, do not be afraid to contact the USDA. Do not be afraid to contact the NRCS through the USDA, or apply for grant money through the EQIP, which is part of the NRCS. They are looking for beginner farmers. They're looking for people who don't know what the heck they're doing. Do not be ashamed. Do not feel funny that you want to buy a few acres and do this. And also, there is not an acreage minimum for anything I just described either. There is no, oh, you need 10 acres to qualify. You don't even need a full acre, like I said, because they are also working with urban farmers. So I hope this gets your wheels spinning. It is my desire to show you guys what is available to you to help with the fears, so that more everyday people buy this farmland before corporations and foreign entities do. It's a much better future for all of us. So please join me in not knowing what the heck you're doing. It's fun. We can form a club. Write to me below. I'll be nice to you. The bravest thing you could ever do is admit you know nothing about what you're doing, in my opinion. I think it's about to be an amazing year. I think we're going to see people embrace nature in a way we haven't in a really long time, and I think it's the start of something beautiful. Follow along, subscribe if you guys like this video. I have so much more content coming your way. I break down all things land loans, starting a farm, working with the Amish. You get the picture. Bye!